But anyway, so regardless, I think that in regards to like reparations, I think that there are some just like values that I think that in society like are just should be held, and that we think that humans are valuable, that no human on the basis of like skin color is lesser than another human being, and thus when there are some injustices that are like predicated on the basis of race, we should seek to kind of eliminate those type of things, those type of structures. But regardless, in regards to reparations, I think that it's not something that like, we need to focus on like feeling guilty. It's more so just like valuing equality and valuing just like equality of opportunity specifically. It's something that needs to be done just like structurally. And then, so yeah, I don't think guilt is a part of the
So why would white people in 2025 have to pay reparations to the black community in 2025 for something that neither of those communities have been a part of?
So it's, first of all, the system that we're talking about is not like, it's generational. So it's not saying that like white people out of their pockets need to be paying black people in any sense. That it would have to be something that's like governmentally funded, et cetera, because
still
the government,
taxpayer money.
Yeah, sort of, but it doesn't have to be specifically from taxpayers.
Well, how does the government get money?
The government gets money, majority of it is from taxes, but there are a bunch of like different like, a bunch of different departments that we have that are funded in different ways, et cetera. But regardless, right, this is something that like was sanctioned by the government, where we had just like slavery legalized, and we also just had Jim Crow laws in an era where black people were economically subjugated, and thus I think it should be something that like the government kind of goes to like fix.
Right, but let's say like 2025 America, we don't have chattel slavery, correct?
Yeah, but we have like generations of poverty.
But why would why would 2025 be superior to any example? I guess we could even go to Libya right now because they have open slave markets, but why would one be superior to the other in your deterministic worldview?
What do you mean by superior?
Well, do you not appeal to one being better than the other?
Like one society being better?
Yeah, so a time in history in which slavery was normalized, would you say that is equal to a period in history right now where it's not?
Yeah, so
or is it better?
I would say that like when we talk about morality, I guess you're asking about my moral framework. I see it as like society like collectivizes upon different views that a lot of times throughout history tend to coincide, and we haven't been able to prove the truth aptness, right, absolutely of like moral claims, but there are like but there are tenets that we tend to value over time. So like tenets that I think are valuable are things like, again, equality of opportunity. I'm pretty anti-bigotry and things of that sort. And in that, using that framework, I would say that in a society where we, unalive people based on race, or we subjugate people based on the race, that isn't okay. And so
why is it not okay?
Yeah, so this is going to be like a moral subjectivist view.
Okay, so so it's just your own personal preference.
Yeah, I think that's what moral claims are.
So it's all okay. So then, if it's your moral personal preference, me having a different moral personal preference, we're equal in standing. Yeah.
So it's not even something to be like debating on base of equality. It's more so of just like, one, I think that moral claims are spread based on like how favorable they are, and I think that we should be making certain moral claims less favorable because of their output and their effect. And and the attempt of the moral subjectivist is to move someone's credence or belief towards their own for whatever due reason. So it's like, it's not about the equality of certain like moral frameworks or moral takes, more just that like they all exist, and they're expressions of usually like resentment or like likability. That's like kind of like what a moral attitude is.
Okay, so why would, for example, the World Cup in Abu Dhabi got criticism because they were using slave labor to build their city. Now, incredibly successful economically, that society, low crime, low theft, low murder. By a lot of metrics that we would analyze, we would say, wow, seems like the utility, if we're just going to make a utilitarian argument, that seems pretty effective. But at the same time, you would agree that slavery is wrong. I would agree too. I'm a Christian, so I'm not in favor of that. But my point is, within your worldview, I don't see how you can delineate between the two, because if you're just going on utilitarian consequences, it'd be very easy to find civilizations that do things that you would find abhorrent, and that utilitarian, that it's actually very, very successful for their society, and maybe that they're more successful than other societies that don't do those things.
Yeah, I'm not a utilitarian. So again, if I was a utilitarian, I think I wouldn't hold the same values that I do now. Again, in like equality of opportunity, of respect, etc. So again, this is going to be something where it's like a society is not successful, in my view, and a lot of Americans' view, if they do not, promote, the equality of opportunity and safety of all individuals. And
why is that important? Because I feel like what I'm hearing is that you're getting back to a sort of moral worth of individuals, which I agree with.
Yeah, right.
But I'm just trying to figure out how do you come to, within your worldview, how do you come to the moral worth of individuals?
I can tell you how I've come to these feelings and these opinions, but I'm telling you that like moral claims, in my view, are not truth apt, meaning that you can't in any way, they're not provable, they're not testable, right? And we've observed this again, through science and evolution. Evolution kind of shows us that people who kind of tended to respect other people and like other people and work together with other people tended to survive more. And that biology, that chemistry of having mirror neurons and just social ability tended to become more of a prevalent factor in human biology. So I think that's how we can explain where moral claims derive from. But are they truth apt? No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so would you, since you debase morality and ethics from truth claims, in which fair enough, at least you're being consistent. I appreciate that. Because my criticism for your worldview, that now that you've actually justified or argued that you're a moral subjectivist, therefore there are no universal moral claims, okay, fair enough. Now I can understand your point of view and where you're coming from.